If you want to see the exact process that it goes into putting a successful first ride on a pretty sassy, opinionated, borderline a little bit aggressive, and a very sticky filly, you're watching the right video, guys, because we're getting back to day number 2 at the Indiana Equine Roundup, where I was working with Lydia, my student there for the weekend at that expo, where she brought that type of filly, gave us quite a bit of a challenge. We went through the prep work in our last video of preparing her for the first ride, and today we're actually getting that first ride put on. So if you like the Real Raw training videos, be sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like down below if you feel like the video earned it. If you learned something, if you have questions, drop those in the comments, and we'll always be sure to provide you guys with those free resources to help you guys develop the partnership and the skills that you want to with your horse. You can find those down in the description, but I'm not gonna hang you up. Let's get into today's video, hit that subscribe button, and let's get this ride on with this filly. This horse showed up yesterday and she was not super happy. And if we look at a horse that we want our horses to be happy, we want our horses to be willing to move around. But if we have a horse that is just not happy, the next step is not a happy horse. The next step is a horse that just is accepting, the horse that is just no longer upset. We have to go from being upset to no longer upset, to then we can get to happy. Right? But so many times people see horses that are upset about something and they're like, I just want them to be happy. It's like, well, the next step is let's just get them to where they're not totally pissed off about whatever's going on. Right? Let's get them to understand that they can get a fair deal in this. And we can't avoid these types of situations like with this mare here, where she gets, send her face away. Like when she looks into you that way, you want to direct that away. Oh, like, all right, change directions. And so with our groundwork, y'all, okay, when you see when she physically starts moving faster because it's emotional, we need to change directions, okay? We want her tuning more. You see how she's just kind of glaring off at the tough one sign? Then change direction. She needs to tune in. The way that she's gonna get more, we want this horse to find a way to find some peace in all of this, and the way that we're gonna go about doing that is to give her something to focus on, right? She's distracted and upset. To get her, our goal to getting her to being more of a willing participant is to get her focused and more present and more relaxed. Yeah, see, okay, perfect opportunity. Let me have her for a second. So just right there, you're being really soft with your hand. Go ahead and step like to the fence. You're being, yeah, all the way to the fence. You're being really soft with your hand, but one thing is that I'll see if we can set this up, okay?
How would you get it?
So when she gets upset that way, I get to choose what I'm gonna focus on. Am I gonna choose to be focused on her being upset, or am I gonna focus on the solution? Right, the solution is just go forward, please. Right, because when we get on to put a first ride on her, if she gets stuck like that, what are we gonna do? Well, you're not gonna cowboy up and just go thumping on her unless you can stick a bronc ride. You're gonna redirect it and say, will you please just go forward? And so I'll add that forward in when she starts to get a little distracted. And then when Lydia went to do that change of direction, see, she wants to get stuck like right there hanging out with her. And what I'm gonna try to point out here is when the horse goes to change direction, sometimes she doesn't really move her hips over. So if I go to change here, she'll really want to kind of get straight through the shoulder. So I'll step in here. Don't come to me. Okay, because I have to be mindful this horse was half tempted to come over towards me yesterday. So I'm going to be pretty clear with her that I don't want you looking over the top of me or looking like you're going to come towards me. And that's more of an intention thing. So right behind the shoulder there is where she gets stuck. And I want the hips to free up. Because if she's more willing to move those hips around, then we can get those hips to come forward to drive some forward energy. And the more that she relaxes through her hind end, the more she's gonna relax through her barrel where she can breathe more. Like anybody ever been tense and tight about a situation and somebody just looks at you and goes, just breathe? Sometimes that's what we need our horses to do, is just focus on breathing. So like that's the softness that she just kind of moved around there through all of it, from her shoulder or from her hips, her barrel, her shoulder, her neck, and her head, was really nice. And we'll see if she gives us like a contrary look to where when we go to move around here, I'm looking for how she moves. See how much softer the expression is in that? That's what matters. It's not so much exactly where her feet are going, but it's how she's moving, because the way that she's acting with pinning her ears and throwing her head, it's the outward expression of the inward experience, as a mentor told me. It's right. It's how she's outwardly expressing how she's feeling internally. So how do we fix the behavior that we're seeing on the outside is to get her feeling a different way on the inside, right? When we get her feeling a different way, she's going to look like a happier, more relaxed horse. But so many people want to address the ear pinning or the head throwing, and that's the secondary symptom to a deeper situation. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? Of just kind of changing this up to where we really need to make sure that her shoulders step away. So I like how she just softly moved off that. I don't care how quickly she does it. Then I'll tap her with this flag right where the leg will go, because the plan is to put a ride on this filly. And so I can be very practical about where I'm going to use my flag, which is going to be directly where that leg's going to go. Okay? That's a nice change from yesterday. I still want her to keep moving. I like that. I still want her to keep moving. And right there, see how I put my hand up? Because I knew she was slowing that shoulder down, so I can kind of guide her away and still keep the forward coming.
Same thing. Back off with their hips.
And I want my horses that when I ask them to go, I want them to keep going until I ask them to do something different, right? So my left shoulder is open, my energy is forward, and I'm asking this horse through my body language to continue moving. But I want to be able to rub her here so that she can accept this. It's basically a pet, so if you were riding her around, you could reach back and rub on her, and she doesn't stop, okay? We want her to be able to still keep going. Okay, let me hand her back to you here. Is that making sense? Is that logical and progressive? So we want to make sure that our groundwork is directly applicable to when we step on her. So I want you to rehash it really quickly, and we're going to move on. There you go. Good. Feet are up. Good job. Yep. With a lot of these horses that can kind of sometimes be a little bit dangerous, and I'm really, like, I don't put labels on horses when they have dangerous-like behaviors. I like to have them really far away. Like sometimes a rope that can get them in the next county is still too close. So see how she's getting distracted? You step in towards the hips. So I'm not going to pick on you, but keep going. Like, I'm going to point that out. See how that horse, like when she went to make that turn, she just kind of made a big swooping turn, and she didn't quite actually engage her hips and then roll back over her hocks to make a pivot. So go ahead and change direction. See, she's getting, the more she stays focused, the more relaxed she can be. Okay, and it's how we go about getting her focused that's going to help her relax. If we go about her and we just go, whacking on her, that's going to get her focused, but it's going to put a lot of tension in her. There you go. Step towards the hip, step around. There you go. Because what happens if we're on her back and she gets distracted? What are we going to do? We're going to go inside rein, inside leg to redirect the focus back to the inside direction of travel. There you go. Nice. See, I like that expression. It's so much softer. Okay. See right here, you need to go ahead and step towards the hips. There, yep, yeah, exactly. So first just start with your body changing position and see if that's enough to bring her back. That's gonna be the same as like, hey, I'm just gonna shift my seat. I'm gonna drop my leg back a little bit. If that doesn't, then you can come in with a little bit of flag, then the hand if you need to. Yeah, so go ahead and send her back to the left. I wanna get that when she's coming back through, because she's distracted because there's all kinds of stuff going on, but there's something down there that's got her attention. Bring your energy up. This is, guys, if you're on like the lower energy side of things, it's one of the trickiest things is being able to hit that gas pedal and bring it up. We need to be able to bring our energy up, bring our energy down, bring our energy up, bring our energy down. Yep, step towards the hips. There, see, like, you just step. That's gonna be enough, okay? Yeah, just step, go ahead and send her. I'm gonna hamper on this for a second, because I want you guys to see like how little it can take to where when she starts to drift and get focused off to the right, just step left, or to your right, sorry, yep, step there. And see how she starts to bend around you right through there? Just by, instead of going a bunch of crazy stuff, like how little can I do? Because this horse isn't gonna be happy with more, right? She's just gonna get more pissy. So how can we be subtle but still effective, okay? I'm gonna jump over this fence real quick and toss your saddle up here. And so as we go to get this filly saddled, one of the things that we noticed, and was the reason I didn't want her saddled to begin with, is because she holds a lot of tension in her barrel. And if we're gonna set these horses up for success, one of the best things that we can do is take one thing at a time. So we go through and we do our groundwork here to get these horses prepared. Then we put the saddle on and we'll rehash that groundwork. You can go ahead and step over this direction and go ahead about get her saddled here. Just don't have her right up on the fence. Okay, like I'd rather you put the saddle pad on her, then pull your saddle off and walk to the center of the round pin. That way if she were to get bothered, she doesn't smush you through the rails. Okay. Yeah, bump her head, just like, don't have to be hard, but just bring her focus back to where she's playing with that flag. I'm really big, guys, on these horses. Like when we're working with them, they're focused, right? You see people like stock dogs or police dogs, like those, when they're being worked, they're being worked, okay? And that's just an expectation. I think it benefits, I don't care whether you trail ride or ride reiners, ranch horses, dressage horses. This approach that I'm showing you guys, I've got a cowboy hat on and jeans. My clients for the last 10, 15 years have been hunters, jumpers, and dressage horses. Okay, those are the primary horses that were in our barn. We're in Texas now, we're riding cow horses and have a school, there you go. And so, but this is horsemanship's horsemanship. It's not English versus Western, it's not cowboy hat versus helmet, it's just quality horsemanship all the way through and through. And so, one thing I liked, and I don't know if she did it on purpose, is that she saddled this filly from the right side of her body. And one reason I like to do that is that when I put that saddle up from the right side on a colt, I can drop my cinches there, and then I can just walk over one time and get them cinched up, versus if I put a cinch on a colt from her left side, from this side, I have to walk over there, drop my cinches, walk back around, get her cinched up, and it just takes more time. And if you had one that could get bothered, then you're just increasing the likelihood that they're not going to be able to stand for that long. So something of this is just about being really efficient all the way through. So as she gets saddled up, Lydia's going to take her for a walk, just like if she got tacked up in the barn and just was going to lead her out here. We're going to take her for a quick walk, and that will, a lot of times with a horse that can be a little cinchy or a little nervous, it can give them time just to kind of settle down, versus us cutting them loose and saying move your feet out, and them just kind of getting real cold backed and wanting to go humping around. All right, and if, for general rule of thumb, when I'm starting colts, if they're a little tight with the saddle day 1, 2, or 3, I'm not really that concerned about it. They've never had anything like this strapped to them. It's okay, they can work through it. I want them to be able to process it. If they start getting past day 3 of them still being tight with that saddle, then I'm gonna step in and start to make a bit more of a point of like redirecting that and saying, hey, we don't want you to keep doing that. We don't want you to feel like you have to, okay? So just cut straight off towards Meredith there. And then when you come straight through, make a right and just change direction. And we do it this way to where you notice how like she makes that change of direction. Just don't get yourself right up on that fence. Yeah. Stay off the fence. To where that horse, as she's moving around, you can see she's licking and chewing, she's processing things. And she's also, throughout this, she's able to feel that saddle a little differently. So then just turn left. See how she got distracted out there, just turn left. It's just really can be like, oh, I just have to go the other direction. It's a very passive way to let this horse kind of settle in. Bring her back to the middle, check your cinch. Watch your attitude. Like, that's just, it's a watching. And you notice like a lot of people use like attitude with mares. They're like, oh, she's a mare, she's got a little bitchy face, whatever, right? And it's like, I love mares. I'll ride a mare before a stud and a gelding any day of the week. But you have to understand like certain horses like this, I think, you could see an issue, and if you want to go at it and like attack it, she might just fight with you about it, right? And then most horses that learn to fight with the human have been taught to fight with the human because a human fought with them in the past. Versus if you don't fight with them and you set it up in a way of like, how can I work with this horse without the fight coming, and still handling like safety situations. Like you guys saw me, I thumped her on the center of her neck earlier at that flag because I just felt like if I let that escalate, it was going nowhere good, okay? So I'll handle it and I can be firm, but you can be fair about it. Okay, let's go back to your groundwork. Yeah, and we want to move her hips, move her shoulders all the way around. And so most of this, guys, and see, I'm going to change something right there, okay?
It feels awkward.
Yeah, it feels awkward because it is awkward, right? You're going to tapping her underneath her chin and she can't really see it. And we already know it, she doesn't like physical pressure, okay? So if I'm already this close to her, I've got a few options, right? If I'm gonna back her up, I could take a hold of her and ask her to back up really softly. I mean, my hand's completely open, okay? And that could be enough, and now I'm in a better position to start my groundwork, okay? Right? I could have taken the back end of this and just thumped her onto the end of the nose, right? Some of you guys are like, well, that'd been pretty appropriate. Probably would have been effective? No, I don't think so, because she had just been more pissed off about it, right? So how can I go handle it in a way that still goes, that's not necessary, okay? Then from here you can send her off. The other thing you can do, I'll move her around so she doesn't run into that fence, is if I'm this close, just take your hand up and ask him to back up like this. And if she gets a little lost, then bring the flag out in front of her and just use that to drive her back, okay?
0 ZA, Indiana license plate, silver Chevrolet Cruze.
Make sure when you send her shoulders that you're pointing, you're centered up on her, that you're sending to 1 or 11 on that clock. You're kind of dropping your hand off to straight to the side. And if you see someone that's doing their groundwork go and they go to send them, so I want you to change direction with her. Let her stop and then go to change her direction. Yep. There you go. Now here I want you to point straight towards 11, so it's more out in front of you. There you go. If you go straight out to the side, she's going to walk right through the middle of your circle. Okay. Yep. See here, like wave the flag, do something to get her attention. It doesn't have to be crazy, but it just needs to be a refocus. Okay. And this time when she comes past there, ask her to trot. Right now. See, with these colts, a lot of times, like, people have problem with a horse getting like barn sours. They're wanting to go to a gate, wanting to go to the barn. What I'll do with these colts from the very beginning is conveniently ask them to do a little bit more work at the gate or at an area where they're wanting to hang out. If they're, bump her a little bit. Bump on the halter, like today, please. Like when that happens with her, because she's not bothered by it too much, that you want to step in to redirect it, because her thoughts can kind of move quickly, and we need her to be thinking to you, okay? Sometimes she doesn't have the best ideas on her own. And guys, with training horses, there's some training programs where they're just like, I'm gonna make the horse do it. And there's other programs like mine where we're gonna set it up, and we're kind of like the guidance counselor in the horse's life. It's not our job to do it. So we're not gonna necessarily make this horse do it. We can make it difficult for her not to do it. Well, there you go, good job. See, that was much better timing there. And you wanna see that when you bump her, that if she doesn't soften all the way through her hips, that you keep going towards the hindquarters until she softens. Because guys, when we're looking for real softness, we wanna see softness through her poll, up between her ears, through her loin. So that means softness all the way from the point of her poll to down to the point of her tail. Okay, and if I notice that somewhere in there she's holding some tension, that we can go at it. There you go. See, keep going, keep stepping around, okay? To the shoulders, drive the shoulders just a little bit away. And the reason is, and I'm being really particular because the plan is to step on her here. And what I saw in that was that horse came around, moved her hips, but she locked that shoulder up. And she got real stuck in the shoulder in that downward transition. And we know with horses, a lot of times, their shoulders are what they use to lean and push, and they can hold a lot of emotion. So I want to see her make that downward transition and be soft in all parts of her body. Step towards the hips, ask the hips to step over, there. Yep, see how the shoulder slows down so much? I just said move the hips over, and she wants to come to that stop, right? So I want you to stay behind me. I want you to try to stay behind me, and you see where my body position is, all right? So, and I think like when we talk about, we have a school down in Texas called Professional Horseman School, and it's really designed around developing young professionals and those that are really serious about their horsemanship. And one of the things that we see today, right, is there's some folks that they're good at riding one particular style of a horse, and that's the only style of horse they can get along with. Whereas you really look at horsemanship and like really what I would consider being a well-rounded professional, and being able to blend in with all types of horses. And so this particular horse, we have to adjust to fit her needs and where she's at. So watch this, when I step into the hips here, I can still keep driving See how she wants to slow that shoulder down? But how do I get the shoulder to unlock? I just say go forward. Just go, keep moving forward. I can step through here, but then she needs to bring that shoulder around the circle, okay? To where I'm kind of chasing her tail and she's chasing mine, right? Then if I want to change directions here, I'll stop my feet, point straight out in front of me. Let's see how she moves those shoulders completely away, right? Then, so that way when I change my position, she stays on a circle to where she can keep reaching. And then right there, see how she wants to look in? And the more she looks in, the more that shoulder gets stuck. So I'll open mine just a little bit and say, that flag's going right to that stirrup, right? Because I just add a little inside leg and say, keep moving forward. Then I'm like, I'm gonna drop my leg back and get a little bit of hindquarters. Okay, that's pretty good. The shoulder stayed a little more free, right? And we need that shoulder to stay free from an emotional regulation standpoint than a physical thing. It's just we're addressing what we can see physically, knowing that it's gonna unwrap the emotional tension that she holds, right? Okay. All right. So I want her to trot around. We need to, let's do this. Tighten your cinch. I'm gonna climb up high and we're gonna cut her loose. So before I step on a horse for the first time, and some folks came by and asked me this question earlier, one of the big things that I'm gonna make sure is that we can walk, trot, canter them. They've walk, trot, cantered under saddle. That doesn't mean on the first ride that I'm gonna be on them and walk, trot, canter, but it does mean that that horse has gone through the range of motion with that saddle on, okay?
Jackie said yesterday something about
And a first ride I used when I was starting colts, yeah, you can cut her loose. When I was starting colts, it used to be like the first day we'd get them saddled, we'd get them rode, they'd walk, trot, canter. Day 2 and day 3, like they're outside the round pen moving around. And I will say, like, that over the couple of years, I've slowed it down a fair bit. I just chuck your halter out or hand it to me, or, yeah. It doesn't matter, as long as it gets outside. Push it out, because I don't want her to put her foot through it. So my goal with everybody that's watching too, like Lydia, I'm trying to make sure that she's getting an opportunity to develop her skills. Go ahead and send her around. Yep. Yeah. There you go. You might want to go that way.
Yeah. Pick that inside rein up.
So right through here, like if she starts to get distracted, same thing. You can step towards her hips and bring that attention back, or you can send her forward. But we want to know that she can stay relaxed and she can move around. I wouldn't recommend that.
There you go.
So when she comes through here, if she looks up towards me, I want you to drive her, because she doesn't need to be focused on me. She needs to be focused on you. Okay. Anytime like she kind of looks out, and it's not, when you go to drive her forward, it's not like you heathen son of a whatever, right? It's just go forward, right? When she starts to get a little distracted right through there, just go forward, right? Just go forward. And I say it with that tempo and then with that that rhythm in my voice, because when I'm on them, if I like go forward, right, I'm gonna get tight. I'm gonna cinch down on them. I'm gonna cause more tension. And Ray Hunt has a saying like, first you go with them, then they go with you, then you go together, right? We're in the we go with them phase. Everybody, some folks, there was the peanut gallery from last night's session, word got around pretty quick back to me, and they're just like, that horse needs X, Y, and Z, and it was like a bunch of just really harsh kind of treatment. And I was like, and if anybody thinks that way, you have a different way of doing it, my boot's right over there. I genuinely will have a genuine conversation with you about it, because I'm curious as to, there's a lot of ways to do this. I'm just showing you how I would go about doing it. And
where he understands, and two,
I want you to send her forward. See, she slows down. And like if you see, guys, one big indication is like if she comes past me or anything where she gets a little distracted, the feet slow down so that she has more time to look at it, right? So if we want her to stay more focused on Lydia pushing her around here, then we can just make sure that we're focused on just going forward, just going in the direction we need them to go. How's time?
It doesn't matter how big it is. If you wanted to do a little bitty circle.
Cool.
Now,
right through there.
All of the early tests,
that was a little dodgy.
You don't even have to do a full circle. So the judges are helping you out a little bit.
Good. See how the inside ears start to stay more focused on her? And I don't really care about the antics. Is it great? No, but I like how the inside ear is staying more towards her, the body's softening, she's slowing down a little bit in a soft way. She's still keeping the forward rhythm. There you go. And this is, I'm a big fan of the round pen work, because guess what? You can't force them to relax. We're working with this horse on being able to regulate her own emotions, okay? So we're setting up the learning experience for her, and she's working on it. And so people ask me like, well, how do you know when to put more pressure on versus take pressure off? Okay, if this horse was nervous, and she's not very much a nervous type, she's more of a bold type of horse, but she would get more nervous, and I was like, okay, she's leaving a parasympathetic, a relaxed state of mind, going to a sympathetic state of mind. Okay, just keep your flag down for a second. Okay, just let her have a second. Right there, one thing is, I don't care if they face up or not. Okay, a lot of people are like, I want them to face up. Okay, I couldn't really care less. I want to see if that horse changes the way she's going around, then that expression is way more valuable to me, that she came to a stop nice and slow, and she's processing, she's thinking, she's not overly distracted. People are handing cups back and forth right next to her, and she could easily turn that way, and she's in a zone. She's going through processing things, and if you were to take that flag to her right there, and you get focused on the next thing, you might actually distract her from what she's currently thinking about, okay? So it's really important that I'm like, I really like that a lot. Let's give her a second, and then actually to get her going the other way, I would have you just step towards that fence, step into her head, pet her, and then just really gently have her, ask her move her shoulders over, and then change direction. Because I don't want to go do something and completely distract her from processing what you just spent the last 5-7 minutes working on. And so I'll slow things down, and then let there be a bigger gap in that transition from one thing to the next thing. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so go ahead and step towards your fence there. There you go. Slow down feet. Slow, slow, stop. So you're moving in there like, I'm gonna go do the next thing. Okay, but she checked in with you like 2 steps into it, and we're focused on getting her more focused. So stepping through there in a nice soft step and being balanced, and when she checks in and she's like, hey, it's nice to see you, I got my ears forward, go up there and like rub her a little bit and say it's nice to see you too, because that's better than her pinning her ears and half like saying I might bite you, right? So just step up there and there you go. Yeah. Step to your left, because that'll bring her head back through. Step to your left. Yep, slow step. So you're like sidestepping heavy, right? You guys, I'm really particular about this stuff. Like when people come to the professional horseman school, like I'm onto it. Like you need to step smooth and balanced all the way through, and so that way you stay balanced in your shoulders and your hips. If you take a big long step, you're going to do this, right? If you ride like that, you're going to be throwing your horse off balance too. So you go ahead and step back to your right there, and there you go. All right, if we want our horse to move soft and smooth in their body, we should probably move soft and smooth in our own body too, right? If we want our horse to be engaged in their body, we want our body to be engaged too. And if you build muscle memory through the ground, it can help you be more mindful of it when you go to actually get on their back. All right, so now there you go. Just go ahead and step down to her left side, step to your right. Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
He's waiting for you to tell him which way to go.
Yeah. No, and then I just take your hand right to the center of her neck and just kind of ask her to move off towards me. There you go. Good. There you go. Good. And have her, just have her move on. Raise that flag up just a little bit. Yeah, towards your stirrup. That way it drives her forward. Yeah. She can't see that. She needs to see it.
If you're tipping, you're getting out of balance, so you clamp down.
Drop the flag behind her hip and just have her come forward. Guys, I'm really big, particularly with a horse like this that gets a little resentful towards physical pressure, that I want them to be able to know that they can see that flag before I go thumping them with it. That way they knew that there was a fair shot of like, hey, I made a soft request before I just went in there and physically whacked you, right? So same thing when you use your leg. You want to be able to, see, I like that. Like she didn't even bat of ear, pin her ears, get tight coming past me here.
We've got to back up to that. We're going
Good.
to fix that hole. And then
It's really important that you give these horses the fair chance to go, oh, okay, we're doing the next thing. And it can soften them up. Otherwise, you know, if your horse goes to sleep, and I made this mistake years ago, and I had a really well-known professional call me out on it. I was sitting on my horse having a conversation, and from them, they were giving me a lesson, and my horse kind of went to sleep, and I went to ride off, and instead of like adjusting my saddle or anything, I didn't thump her, I just wrapped my legs around her, and she kind of jumped, because she had dozed off. We were sitting there having a conversation, and she just said, next time, like, why don't you just pick up on your reins or just kind of slide side to side just a bit and let that horse think back to you for a second and come out of that doze, that little daze that she was in, and then put your legs on her, versus just wrap my legs around her and she kind of felt it under her belly, and then she's like, oh gosh, what was that? I was kind of snoozing. And those little things can make a big difference in getting a horse that can truly go around nice and relaxed.
Clamped right here.
All right, ask her to trot around. We're getting close. We're getting real close. Off she goes.
Okay.
Come on.
So if you,
She has to go.
when he started to bulge that shoulder, shifted your right feet bone.
See, she thinks it's inconvenient. She's like got somewhere to be apparently. There you go.
If he has all those buttons.
Slow your feet down. If she slows down when you slow down, just pitch that flag towards her and bring that energy back up. Because if you constantly walk at your horses, y'all, you're constantly pedaling. It's like constantly kicking them with the leg. So we want to be able to, over time, be able to slow our feet down a little bit in the round pen and have that horse continue to maintain that speed and direction around us. Yeah, come on, like use the flag. Like when she's busy pinning her ears and stuff, you need to step in there and go, just go forward. Like we don't have time for you to be having thoughts like that. That'd be the nice way to put it. See, now there, when that inside ear leaves, I just go ahead and send her forward. That's good. That's good. There it leaves. Just a little bit of forward. Go, go, go. Off she goes. There has to be a noticeable change. I don't care if she lopes. Actually, in fact, let her lope through there next time. Because see, off she goes. Go. Just don't get too close. Okay? Then let her come down and send her forward now. Go. Send her forward. Good. There you go. It's getting there. Right, and what she's doing now, kind of frolicking around like a little leprechaun or whatever she's doing. Right. There you go. That was a little smoother. She's not actually like that. That to me, I don't read that as her being like real angry and upset about it. She's just kind of hucking around and playing around. But she needs to lope again. Now. Yeah. Send her forward. I don't care that she maintains it. I just care that she goes into it. There. Forward. See, she hasn't committed to it. She goes up to it and she's still thinking about slowing down. She needs to think about actually going forward. And that's something that's really big, right? You guys might be able to see this, that is when this horse does go into the lope, she does it, but she's still thinking about slowing down. She's not actually committing to going forward. Yep, block her eye. Come on, cut her off. Go, step in towards her eye. Step. Yep, there you go. Here, don't get any closer.
So you didn't relax. You just simply leaned back and went.
Good. And then let her cruise for a second. Step in towards her eye. See, you stepped away. Step towards her. Yep. Wave the flag. Come on. Yeah. You can keep it up. It doesn't need to come down to the ground. Just keep it up. Send her forward. See, she's going to turn back again.
You became aware that you can relax.
I might just get on you. It'd be real tempting. Take the flag towards her eye. Because her eye, she's going to go where her eye is looking. Okay?
Right.
Send her forward. Go, go, go. Towards her eye. There you go. There. And then get quiet. And when she turns away, don't tap her in the butt. Guys, when these green colts, I see some folks do that. When they go to turn that back into the fence, they want to smack them on the butt to send them forward. They can't see you. And if you want to get on them, you don't want to get them scared in that blind spot. Good job. Send her forward. Come on. Ask her to lope. So stay behind the shoulder. You're getting out in front, and then she's going to turn back. And as you'll hear, like my voice will get kind of firm because I'm trying to it's a timing thing. That moment's there, that moment's gone. It's like, hey, we got to get it done. Because if we don't step in there and do it now, the moment's gonna change. This horse can turn back into the fence pretty quick.
If you feel him jiggle, meaning
Oh, she goes. Come on.
Fishtail
All right.
when he comes to it, you just get really
Come on,
steady,
like wave it.
shoulders over your hips.
Get her turned, and then I'm gonna take her for a second. Get her turned, get her turned, get her turned, get her turned. You're doing good. I just want to head this off pretty quick. All right, I'm gonna have you step out. Just crawl up on the fence real quick. So one big thing I'm going to focus on with this is I'm going to come in and put more energy into it. And then when she does think about going forward, I stop my feet nearly.
I'm gonna stand in line.
And when she thinks about going, I back off because I'm just trying to reward her thought process for freeing up. And see how she'll carry it more of when she realizes that when she goes, I'll back away from her. And so that's the thing where I just want to send her, and when she puts that effort into going, I'll say, Anna, you're free, you're going to go. And turning her into the fence here is good because she can feel this saddle in a different way. So. Send her forward. And this is us, like, I'm not micromanaging her. I'm setting it up and letting her go. So she's freed up more here, right? There.
We're going to have Lance Kingery talking about horsemanship trail.
That's pretty nice.
Lecture area number 247. Yenna and Aisha Say are going to be there with the competition Q&A.
So this right here, a lot of people are like, I want them to face up. I don't really care. It'll come. It's like teaching horses a ground tie. If you have really good groundwork, they'll eventually ground tie if you pay attention to the details, okay? And so I'll set this up. I'm more focused on conceptual understanding. All right, and then right through here, I'll take this flag up towards her eye. It's a little puzzle, right? It's a little tight for her to make that turn, which means she's way softer in how she's thinking about things than when we first got started. I'm gonna send her this direction again, because we need to get her freed up on this side. Off you go.
More time.
So she's thinking things through, which is why I'm giving her a second to trot. See how my flag goes up towards the eye? It's more here. Because her feet are going to follow where she's looking and thinking to. And if I can block that thought, and she can take it somewhere else, which is this direction. Come on. Let's go, Philly. I know, that spot's a little sticky.
Don't interact.
Okay. And it'll show up. It'll come through, right? When that mind comes through, the facing up will happen, but it's not something that we need to get so fixated on and making an issue about with them.
That's when you get tense. That's when you get the first time, and all of a sudden.
Okay. Do you want to ride her in a snaffle or a halter?
I've never ridden in a halter. Happy to try. Don't give me an issue.
Let's do it in the halter.
Okay.
What we're going to do, though, is I'll be in here to support you, to help you. I'll let you set up the initial request, and if she gets a little stuck, then I can step in and help you work through it. And a horse like this, in all reality, if I was at home, a horse like this, having somebody on the ground to help can be extremely beneficial. If we didn't have a helper, per se, on the ground, I would definitely be doing more groundwork and more prep for a ride. But a horse like this that already is going to be a little sticky, what we're going to make sure we do is when we go to make that initial request, if Lydia starts to ask her, hey, let's just go forward, and the horse doesn't, we're not gonna get trapped into kick, kick, kick. Like, guys, anybody that tells you like more leg, more leg, more leg, it's a trap, right? It's a freaking trap, because the more leg you have to use, the more leg you have to use tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. And so we want these horses to be self-driven and self-propelled. So that's fine. When you come to my place, we'll do it a little different, but I'll let you get away with that here. That's okay. So when we start close to our place, that first ride, though, we won't tie those reins around, those halters around. We'll just have a lead rope to them, because there's no steering. There's not much steering. We just work on one side. A lot of times we have access to 2 reins. We start using 2 hands way more than we even realize. When you only have one, you can only use one. And it helps these young horses because we like to focus on one side of their body at a time. And so when you go step up on here and get your reins organized, I know you've done plenty of first rides. So there you go. Yep, soft. Just bounce, bounce, bounce a little bit. I like to have their heads, like she can check in, lady, just kind of flex her that way, you're fine. But I want their head to be as straight as possible because it helps them stay more balanced. I don't really like getting on one that's completely bent around unless it's one that, like, you're at that point where you gotta have to bend them around to get on them, right? There are those horses. So, okay, relax your legs, breathe. Okay, because here's the thing, with your leg, I want her to feel your leg against her. It doesn't have to squeeze her up, but I want her to feel it's there, because she can feel more confident knowing where your leg is, versus if your leg comes off and then touches her, it's gonna goose her. She's gonna be like, oh, where the hell did that come from, right? All right, so tip her nose to the right, just slightly, and then, yep, open your hand towards me, like you're gonna hand it to me. Not like, like you're gonna give me the rein, like this far out. There you go. Now 2 legs, put both legs on, bump, bump, bump. See how you squeeze? Just bump, 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 like little butterfly wings.
Okay.
I'm a bumper, I guess so. Now I've been labeled.
Squeezing and
Okay.
okay.
Right, yeah, bump, bump, bump. There. That way when she goes, your legs can come off a little bit and she can move up into that just like I was using the flag. Go, go, go. There you go. That fence will get you turned around there, right? I'll go back to neutral, but when she starts, if she starts to speed up, then go to your inside rein, bend her around, move the hind quarters over just like we did in the groundwork. Okay? Yep, bump, bump, bump. There. Pet her like you like her. Pet her. Like actually. You just heard the like you like her part? Not the pet her part? Yeah. Yeah. And so I want you to stay pretty active, moving up rubber with your hand, reach back, rubber. I really like to stay active on these young horses, moving in the saddle a little bit so they can keep track of me. Right? If you get up there on a green colt and you get really still, and then you go to touch them, they're like, oh gosh, where'd that come from? Okay, bump, bump, bump a little bit. See how she's licking and chewing, she's dropping her head, nice and relaxed. Okay, then when you come past Meredith there, bump, bump, bump just a little bit. And then when you come past Meredith, just bring her nose towards me and change direction. So we're just gonna go right rein, bend, 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 bend. Come on, come on. Take a hold of her. There, then forward, forward. There you go. And then I can help you here. There you go. Then in here, if she gets a little stuck to me, I want you to go 2 legs. I'll support you with the flag. Bump, bump, bump with your legs. Later on, when they're getting a little more advanced, I want my calves to be wrapped around them, but I'll bump them for a little bit more speed because it's not walk, trot, canter. It's walk 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, like actual have adjustability in their riding, okay? And so, there you go. Okay, bump, 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 yep, there she goes. You can step in with that left rein and just redirect her until that ear, see how that ear tips back? Take a hold of her and then just let go. There you go. Just those, I look at their ears, they're like direct antennas to her brain, okay? Where those ears are, her focus is going. And so we can, if those ears start to get off because the stalls are back there, then take that inside rein, take a hold of it, and then hold it until the ear comes back and then release, okay? To where it comes back to you, right? And there's a big difference when that ear focusing, that ear being pinned, right? There's a big difference in how that looks. Okay, I want you to bring her across the middle, change direction. I'm gonna step this way, bump, bump, bump. Yeah, bring her nose, she's gotta turn more this way. Yeah. This is the most steering. Relax your right hand. There you go. Outside leg. Now tip her nose to the right. And forward. Bump, 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 bump. There. Because that shoulder gets a little stuck because she wants to look in towards me. Both legs come on and say, just keep going. And then she can lick and shoot. Okay. Now let's ask her to trot around. Elevate your seat a little bit. There you go. Pet her. Pet her. Not scratch her, pet her. You're scratching her. Put your hand on the end outside of that rein. I don't want you getting. There you go. Pet her. Yeah. You can have your reins like in a loop to where they're a little bit shorter. Okay, in case you felt like you needed just to kind of redirect her to the inside. Okay, you don't have to just, because if she's speed, she should still go your speed. And we don't, just in case she gets a little emotional, you can still redirect her. I don't want you so long on the reins, it's going to take you a day. What time is it?
2 p.m. block
Okay.
here at the Indiana Equine Roundup brought to you
Let's
by
change direction.
Sales.
They're going to kick me out here in a minute, but we're going to trot this other way and we're going to call it good. Off you go. Bump, bump, bump. Rein to the left. There you go. There's the ear. Yep. When you pet her, I want your hand together, petting her. Like a mare licking a foal. Okay? Bump, bump, bump. Off you go. They're going to kick us out. Off you go. Come on. Bump, bump. Look where you're going. There you go. All right. Let her stop. Good job. All right, go ahead and step off of her. Okay. All right, loosen your cinch and pet on her there. Pretty good deal for a little session, huh? So you guys give her a round of applause because she had all the pressure on her.